Mixed martial arts, MMA, has gained immense popularity over the years, and women's MMA has evolved significantly, showcasing an incredible level of skill, heart, and determination. With the rise of top-tier female fighters, the sport has also witnessed some of the most jaw-dropping and terrifying knockouts in history. These knockouts are not only about raw power, but also showcase precision, technique, and perfect timing, leaving fans in awe and reminding us of the brutal beauty of the sport. As we approach 2024, the world of women's MMA continues to deliver moments that define the true essence of combat sports. This list highlights some of the scariest knockouts in women's MMA, with fighters demonstrating unmatched striking ability that left their opponents unconscious in a split second. Here, we explore the biggest knockout moments, how they happened, and why they left such a lasting impression on MMA fans worldwide. Valentina Shevchenko, the flyweight champion in the UFC, has been one of the most dominant fighters in women's MMA. Her precision and deadly striking have earned her a reputation as one of the most feared women in the sport. At UFC 238, she faced Jessica Eye in a title defense that would become one of the most iconic moments in MMA history. Shevchenko's knockout of Jessica Eye was nothing short of terrifying. In the second round, Shevchenko landed a perfectly timed head kick that sent Eye crashing to the canvas. The knockout was so violent that it left Eye unconscious, with her body stiffened in an eerie position as the referee rushed in. The precision and power behind that head kick made it one of the scariest finishes ever, as Eye appeared out cold for an extended period before eventually regaining consciousness.
This is a follow through. Yeah.
Right, one right after another is enough to shut the lights out here.
Hayes felt it. She saw it.
Losing her eyes. She's not going to see where these shots are coming from. The body kick.
It's a solid body kick, but no pitch.
Shields out. It's game over.
Oh, nice combination. Puts Dora on the floor. Wow, and Gabby Jarrett is going to win this one by knockout, advancing her to 3-0.
Ronda Rousey's fall from grace in MMA was marked by one of the scariest knockouts ever witnessed in the sport. In December 2016, Rousey was returning to the UFC after a lengthy hiatus, hoping to reclaim the bantamweight title. She was up against Amanda Nunes, a powerhouse in the division with incredible knockout power. From the moment the fight began, Nunes displayed her dominance. After just 48 seconds of the first round, she unleashed a brutal combination that left Ronda Rousey dazed and defenseless. Nunes finished the fight with a flurry of punches, knocking Rousey out cold in one of the most frightening finishes in MMA history. Rousey was left face down on the canvas, clearly unconscious. This knockout not only signaled the end of Rousey's reign, but also marked the emergence of Amanda Nunes as one of the greatest fighters in women's MMA history. Germaine de Randamie is known for her striking ability and her remarkable knockout power. Her fight against Aspen Ladd at UFC Fight Night 155 was a prime example of her lethal hands. In the first round, de Randamie unleashed a perfectly timed right hook that sent Ladd crashing to the canvas. Ladd, who had been pressuring de Randamie throughout the early moments of the fight, was caught off guard by the punch, and she fell unconscious almost instantly. The knockout was so sudden and devastating that it left Ladd motionless for several moments after hitting the canvas. The impact of the punch was so clean that it sent a shockwave through the MMA community, leaving fans and analysts alike in awe of de Randamie's knockout power. This was one of the scariest knockouts of 2024, reaffirming de Randamie's status as a knockout artist. Rose Namajunas' second victory over Zhang Weili at UFC 261 in April 2021 was a career-defining moment, and the knockout she delivered to regain the UFC Women's Strawweight Championship was nothing short of frightening. With a spectacular first-round head kick, Namajunas knocked Weili out cold, sending her sprawling to the canvas in an instant. The knockout was an impressive display of Namajunas' sharp technique and perfect timing. The clean impact of the kick was enough to knock Zhang Weili unconscious, leaving her out cold before the referee could even step in to stop the fight. Namajunas' head kick is often described as one of the most clean and violent knockouts in women's MMA, cementing her place as one of the sport's top knockout artists.
これはどうでしょう。はい、決まりました。これはネクストレベルシビア金子久美子の KO 勝利でございます。そして小田選手がそこからダウンを奪う、そこからの逆転劇。いやー、素晴らしい。これでダウンしたのが金子選手なんですね、最初。
In the early days of women's MMA, Chris Cyborg became synonymous with power and dominance. Her bout with Gina Carano at Strikeforce, Cyborg versus Carano in 2009 was a defining moment in women's MMA history. Cyborg was already known for her unrelenting striking, but this fight demonstrated just how terrifying her knockout power could be. Cyborg took control of the fight early on and delivered a flurry of punches that ultimately left Carano unconscious. Carano was rocked by a brutal combination of strikes that sent her crashing to the canvas, and the referee quickly stopped the fight. The power and intensity behind Cyborg's strikes made this one of the scariest knockouts in women's MMA history, showcasing her as one of the fiercest competitors to ever step into the octagon. Jessica Andrade is another fighter known for her knockout power, and her victory over Karolina Kowalkiewicz at UFC 211 was one of the scariest finishes in women's MMA. Andrade came into the fight with a reputation for devastating power in her punches and her ability to overwhelm her opponents. In the second round, Andrade unloaded a vicious slam that left Kowalkiewicz unconscious. After a series of powerful strikes, Andrade executed a brutal slam that left Kowalkiewicz completely motionless on the canvas. The knockout was not only terrifying because of the sheer impact, but also because of the way Kowalkiewicz was left completely incapacitated after the slam.